So as my topic is contribution of Northeast India in Olympics, and so here, Northeast India, the sporting pride of the country. I think I will not be exaggerating when I said that sport is in our blood. We have a very community-driven culture of promoting sports from a very young age in our society, which definitely helps in building a basic instinct and coordination in our kids. We produced our first Olympian in Dr. Tiao from Nagaland in 1948 as the first Indian football team captain in Olympics. From there on, there have been a total of 30 Olympians, including the ones who will be participating in the Tokyo Olympic. The iconic Mary Kom is an inspiration for the whole country and especially for the Northeast as she became the first ever Olympian from the region who brought home a medal. So we we have, I think we having these 30 athletes who have done so well for us, who make us proud, not just for the Northeast but representing the country and participating in the various Olympics and done so well. And I think they only uh, inspire the next generation going forward that football in Olympics, not just but sports in some way can be a career. It's something that we have to make it part of our lifestyle. So we are very proud for all these athletes that who have done so well and make the country proud. And the next slide, I'm going to the next slide. So as I have just mentioned about, we have, including the ones who's going to represent uh, in Japan. This time, like we have the names of Mary Kom, the 8 participants who will be representing the country from the Northeast. The athletes, Mary Kom, we have Mary Kom, Tarundi, we have Mirabai, we have Larem Siami from Mizoram. So Mizo, I think the state are very proud to have their first Olympians this time around. And we have Susila, we have Lovelina from Assam, who's going to be debuting again in the Olympic. We have Nilkanta, knowing him in person, just had a chat with him yesterday, just checking on, how he's doing and his preparation. We have Susila. So I hope they are preparing well and wish them a very best on behalf of the nation. And all these names, starting from Dr. Tiao till today, the 13 names that I hope that we can continue doing well and produce more and more Olympians and bring more. Hopefully, in this Tokyo Olympics, hope that we can bring more medals. So I'm going to the next slide. So it's a like India started competing in the Olympics in the year in the year 1900, and since then we have won a total of 28 medals, with 9 gold, 7 silver, and 12 bronze medals. Here, what I just wanted to highlight is we have just in total 28 medals, and we knew that we are so proud of what all our athletes have done so far. But we also knew that the expectations are high, and we want our athletes to do well. I'm sure they are preparing well, and they are going to continue fighting for to win more medals. But the expectations are high, so the numbers for sure that starting from this Tokyo Olympic, we won more medals. That's the expectations that we have. So here, before I go to the next slide, being an athlete myself, and also coach now, I have a habit of analyzing others athletes and what makes them special, what makes them differentiate from the race. Talking about one of the greatest Olympians, I guess it won't be hard for anyone, any participants, any guests here and all the guests here, hard to guess who it is. Before I just go to the name, the one of the greatest Olympians that I'm just gonna introduce in the next slide. I know the whole focus of today's webinar is focusing on the Northeast contribution in Olympics. But I think, as we have said, that we are also proud for what our athletes from the Northeast have done. I think it's not just for the Northeast, but in particular, in general, for the whole athletes from our country who's going to represent the country in Tokyo. I think we are so proud of them because they work so hard. And being an athlete, I understand that the amount of hard work, the dedication, the sacrifice they have made so far, and on merit for them to qualify and be part of the Tokyo Olympics, and which is the biggest and the largest sporting event on planet. And everyone, I think, it's any athlete's dream to be part of such huge event for any athlete. But I think, as I mentioned again, we all qualify on merit. We fight through the years, year after year, playing the Asian Championship, playing the World Championship for ourselves to make a place in the Olympic. So I think that only shows that we are good enough. We have the potential, we have the strength, we have the talent to compete with the best. But here, as a big fan of all the athletes, when we see the medal tally, where with the medal tally where we have just 28 medals so far in the last 120 years, because since the first time when we participated was 1900. So I think we have a lot to do, and I think this support has to be there from all the stakeholders, starting from the government and all the private stakeholders. So here, what I feel is, as I've said also, where habit being an athlete, we're always trying to find out why the other athletes are doing better than me, or why are they so ahead, or why are they serial winners, winning medal after medal. So here, my next slide, I'm just going to introduce. It's nothing related to the Northeast of India, but he has been the phenomenal. He has been the greatest Olympian so far. I'm sure that you guys, it will be hard to guess who it is. So here is this guy, Michael Phelps. As we all know, I mean, we can talk whole day about him, about his greatness, but that is not what I wanted to focus on here. Because I was, as a fan of him as well, for the last many years, I've been reading about him, listening to what he talked about, what he says, his preparation, the difficulties he faced all these years. But he won 28 overall medals in 5 Olympics. Start winning from the 2004. And it's equal, if you see the overall total numbers, it's 28. And, we as a huge country, which is striving towards not just trying to be a powerhouse of sports, but economical, trying to be a big player in the world politics in so many ways. And sport is also one of the area where even the government is trying to focus and give a lot of attention, and that we wanted to be a player as well, a big player, so that we can have a bigger say in the world of sports. So here, when I just look back and study on why, because I clearly remember one of his interviews. He said that whenever he goes to Olympic, he said all the contemporaries, all the participants there, he feels that they have the equal chance to win the medal because they are also good. So now here I'm trying to understand that whether this is a modesty that he's talking about it, or it's just do he really believe that his contemporaries are as good as him, or do they have a really chance to win anything against him? So he says that maybe what differentiates. So I'll just quote a just small line what he said. He said, the great, so-called the successful and the great people, the great do things when they don't always want to. And that's the separation. This is what Michael Phelps says. Even he just mentioned about, there were days where I hated my coach. There were days where we got into fights. We got into arguments. We couldn't stand what we were doing. So here, what I'm trying to focus is his mentality. He said that it's about how much won. And one line, again, I'm quoting, where he says that when, I'm sure that many of the panelists here, participants remember when he announced or some kind of declaration before he went to Beijing Olympics. He says, I'm going to win 8 Olympics. People say he is crazy. Not just him, but many of his contemporaries, took it on their ego or, like, hey, what is he talking? But eventually he proved it, and he proved all of us wrong, like to even said that. But he said that one thing, he got like 8 medals to win, and soon after he win the first medal, of course, as an athlete, even we take so much of pride and we feel so good. The feeling of listening to our national anthem before the game start or when we win a medal. But he said that the first medal, when he win the first medal, he was thinking about okay, I got another 7 medals to win. So I'm just trying to emphasize on, because we have so many talented athletes who are good and who are there, competing with the best in the world. But do we have the winning mentality? Because why this guy in the 5 Olympics in a span of 16 years, how come he won 28 medals? And why can't we? Because we are good, we are capable. Yes, he has the support of all the support that he requires, but I'm sure that even we are also trying to provide the best facilities and support that which an athlete is needed. So even he said that now it's all about the mentality. Whether do you have the winning mentality? Because every athlete, every professional in most of the country are getting the required facilities. Maybe some get more, some get a little less, but that is something that the respective governments or the stakeholders need to work on. But he said one thing, he believed in the process, and a lot of people, they were like, you have to be in sync with your physical, emotional mentality. So it's about, we as an athlete, even I myself, playing a professional football for last 15, 17 years, we always try to do the right things, like about eating the right amount of food, stepping enough, sitting in the ice tank, massage, recovery. We have physio, we have measure, we have doctors, we have analysis trying to explain us what went wrong, what I should be doing good, and what are the good things that I can only get better from there. So a lot of things are there, the support staff trying to help you. But yes, this is what I think the facility most of the athletes are getting today. But question is like, what about the winning again? Because these guys are not one-off or one-off winner. These guys are serial winners. They win one after other. So one winning, their first win was not a mistake. It was the process that went through and the mentality that they have, that they wanted to prove that they are good. So I think we as a country, we can, the whole take away from this, my thing is, I think there's a lot that we can take and we can at least reflect on the mentality part as well. Why these guys? Because we are good, and why are they winning? So that's my way of looking to the, again, as a coach or as a former athlete. Because we always drive to do better. The hunger is always there. So I'm sure that we can definitely take some good lessons and the preparation and everything what Mr. Fell went through. Then then again, the next slide is also another champions that which I wanted to. I'm just taking to the next slide. Now here, the great Michael Jordan. Of course, he played 84 and 1992 Olympics. He won 2 golds, but yes, he is considered to be one of the best player ever played basketball. But here, I think again we can talk about Jordan whole day, but we want to talk about Jordan. Here, I'm trying to emphasize on Tim Grover, who Michael's trainer for 14 years, was instrumental in bringing out the best of him. Tim Grover mentioned 14 years before even Michael started winning anything. So Tim was with him, and yes, you have a lot of other support staff as we talk about this. Then Michael was talking about in late 80s and 90s when he was right up there winning everything. So here, what I'm trying to say is everything was a plan, everything was a process, and Michael believed in him. He has a team who was working. So after listening to all these things, trying to understand what went through the process. So Michael very much believed in the process, and his success was, of course, we all know that he was talented, he was gifted, extraordinary, but there were a lot of things went behind which a lot of people don't know about him. But uh, his success not an accident. So I just wanted to quickly highlight is because all his win were in late 80s and 90s, where sports science, the technologies technologies which we have today were not there. Probably was just getting in there. So I'm talking about the dedication, about the application, about the approach. Even when there were no technology, even when there were no television, even not so. Here, thing highlight one incident I want to share with you all is Tim said that when those days the match get over by 10:30 in the night, then next day, so by the time he got home, it was 12:30 in the midnight. Then next day, 7 6 at times 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, he has to prepare training session for Jordan. And it was tough because like today we have GPS, which gives us a lot of details. It's just one part of way of helping the players to understand that. For example, if I come from a team sports, we do a lot of physical, like we do a lot of sprinting, like acceleration, deceleration, amounts of length, the overall distance that I cover during 90 minutes of football match, for example, or the amount of sprint that I made, amount of acceleration that I did, my recovery, my fatigue. So a lot of things, it's much easier today with the technologies that we have. But in late 90s or the late 80s or even in early 90s, those were not there. But someone like Tim Grover, who he said there was, even those days in NBAs, there were not proper television broadcasts. So he has to go there and convince the people to give the cachet. And for him to sit down for a couple of hours in the midnight to go back forth and see that how much steps that Michael Jordan made, and whether he used more with the left foot or the right foot or the right hand or the left hand. So, and then why is he doing that? Then he has to plan for session for the next day. So that, for example, if Michael used more on his right hand, then he needs a recovery the next day in the morning. But to lift, to compensate on that, he needs to work more on his left hand on the next day in the morning. So sometimes he said that those days when he go to the gym or if there's a gym session or any field session, if if some people around him just see that Michael was holding dumbbells on his right for 10 kgs or even on the left, just holding 20 kgs, it's like, what's wrong with you? But these are not very new today. These are all part of, I think, the sports science, so much of research going on behind how we can make or perform the athletes better. But this way, then I'm talking about in late 80s and 90s. So even when there was no GPS or there was no all these technologies or sports science, but someone like Tim Grover understanding the importance of this, and this will help or enhance the player's performance. And they were doing it. So for us to suddenly, when we look back today, all those whatever that the Netflix series that came out and so many things, it's interviews and everything. So it was not an accident. So people are thinking ahead. People are thinking far ahead or in advance. What will make the athletes better to become a serial winner, not just one-off winner, but they are winning one after other, one after other. So they are hungry. The desire were always there. So they never hold back. They always wanted to win. So my thing is, these are some areas which I feel that as a fan, as a football coach, as a former athlete, we also want our country to do well, to have more medals coming home. And I think I'm not. Either I qualify or not, but this is like as a wish that I think these are very much available today, and without this we can't go ahead. And this is just one part, and I'm just highlighting only one part. There's a lot of other factors, right? There's sports science, the physio, the doctors, the analysts, then all this, a lot of things are involved. The psychologies, so many things that are required to make the individual or the team success. So I do feel that because we have the world-class athletes, so how can we make them champions, serial champions? How we can make them winner? So I just felt that this was something that I like always closely, always try to study, understand, and this is what I do, and this is my job. And I think I feel that it's not very far that we Indians will start doing well, and we got hundreds of participants competing with the best. And it's just that I think that little mentality things as well will definitely help them achieve those. That is what my feeling. And yeah, just a highlight. So now I'll just move on to uh, and I think I just one winning. When we talk about winning, about Jordan, I just wanted to quickly just mention about this, what Grover said in one of his interviews. He said, winning is not about the trophy and trophy and accolades. It's about the grind. It's about the obstacle. It's about the challenges. It's about the pain that you endure along the way for that 30 seconds of being able to either on a platform acknowledged by individuals close to you. When that happens, your mind has to immediately sit back, because now he fell and tested something that you can only get through winning. So are you willing to do it again? So I think we just need to start winning. Then it's all about, can we win more? So I think right now we just need to break that kind of mentality that when you are up there, you all are equally good, because you are there because you are good enough, and you're there on merit. You have proved winning in Asia, winning in the World Championship. So now the question is, can we win? Can we be the world beaters? Can we be the number one there? So I think that is something that maybe in some way will help, not just the one who's going to participate, but all of us working at the grassroots, working at the villages, working at the town, in the cities. I think every coaches at every level have a lot to work, and at least make the athletes believe that it's achievable, because we have the talent. And lastly, I'm just going to slide. So yeah, we have I think I couldn't see the names behind. I couldn't put all the medal winners here, but yeah, the pride of India. Those names, I think, I don't know whether you can see it or not, but they have done so well for us. Subindra winning the goal after, I think out of 9 goals that we won, 8 came from the team hockey, and Bindra winning. And I think it gives I think us a hope that if we focus and think, and just reflect on what actually you want, some more sacrifice, definitely I think we can achieve. Yeah. So I mean, our athletes, of course, are our pride against all odds. They have proven their excellence in their chosen field, in performing against the best in the world, and brought back medals home. I mean, we can see the medals there. So hopefully, from this Tokyo Olympics, we can increase more medal tally. And I just hope that they are preparing well, and they will do well. Not just the athletes from the Northeast, but from our entire country. And they just wanted wishing them all the best. But my last slide is just quickly. I'll just go through that. So here it is again. I think I have already mentioned quite a bit on most of these titles here. The way forward. I'm not trying to tell what is right or wrong, but what I feel every day. This is something that I keep doing, researching on things, and why and how, and what can make things better, and how should we go about it. So of course we need sports science. I mean, it's much important. Sport medicine, sports science, and this helps. And how much are we up there in the game when it comes to sports science? Are we better than the rest of the world, or are we still doing the catch up? Because I'm sure that we are working really hard. The honorable sport minister, Rizuji, he's very active, and he's focused on a lot of developing and trying to create this environment, the sporting environment in our country. But question is again, I mean, let's be realistic. It's a hard fact, whether we like it or not. We need to do more, because even other countries, those who have been consistently winning more medals than us, are also continue doing and striving forward. So we just need to, either we're going to continue catch up, or we're going to be right up there and compete with them and beat them. So I think coaching education, I think in all the sports field, I think is so much important, because let's take an example in academic where parents who can afford, they want to send their children to Stanford or Oxford, because believing that there you will find the best of students from all over the world, or some of the best professors and lecturers there. So you will be like in a very competitive environment. There you can only grow and compete with the best. So even in a coaching education, if we don't have the best coaches, so how are we going to develop the best coaches? Yes, maybe we need the help from. I remember that the badminton legendary like Gopi Chan, I think a few weeks back, where he said that if you're going to only bring the second best coaches from abroad, and I think we'll always be the second best athletes or second best coaches. So I think he had a very strong statement there. He made a very strong statement, and I think this was very much true, and I think I completely agree with him. So how do we fix that? To bring that this coaching education as well, because I think the chances for us to grow more and becoming stronger is only when we have the best teachers or the best coaches. Then chances of producing more good students will be higher. So I think it's a very simple thing. So I think we need to really streamline and structure this coaching education as well. Of course, infrastructure, that's something I think a lot of responsibility lies on the government, but can't always just put everything on the government. So all the stakeholders from the private stakeholder need to coming in, and we need to work on that, because if we want to compete with the best, and we have to have the best facilities as well, the infrastructures. If we don't have, it's difficult. So again, I think coming from Northeast, we Northeast in some way, sports being very much part of our growing up culture. But I think that has to be a pan India everywhere, not just about the Olympic sports, but all sports, because not just about winning medals, but sports should be a way of life. At least it keeps you stay fit and healthy. At least you feels good. So I think we need to be a healthy society, or healthy nation. So I think that sporting environment and culture that we even Kelo India, and a lot of things are going on now. But I think are we doing a quality stuff or not? Are we doing really or we're just doing it on paper, or do we making a difference on the ground or not? So I think those are the some real check, because people are going really fast ahead of us. So we need to really catch up faster. So again, creating a space for sports in the education system. So I mean, can't compare with what the system in US, for example. So because here, a lot of parents even came to us also in football, where they see that their children have the skill to play the game, but again, can't compromise on the education. So education system that I think has to align, where give some more time, or that is something that I think the education ministry. I would love now with all the talks that the curriculum, the education curriculum will be changing and stuff. So I don't know how much. I haven't really gone into that. But are there's any space for sports, so that anyone who has talent can at least freely, without worry about about I'm missing my exam, I'm missing my whatever unit case, without worrying that, because they have some kind of flexibility. They can do work. I think that would be the best. Like how in US, for example, like they have all this. They start from school, they go to the college. Those teams are really strong, whether it's individual sports or whether it's a team sport. So they have a really structure. It's a big deal for them, right? Like getting to a school and representing your school. Then you go to the college, you go to the uni. Then if you're really good from uni, then you go to, even we talk about basketball, then you go to the NBA, or you turn into a professional. So I think we don't need to really follow them. But what works for us, what is feasible for us, I think that we need to. Otherwise, a lot of children who are talented, but for some reason, whether the education system doesn't allow you to spend more time on the pitch, at times a lot of children they pull back. So I think there I do feel that the education system need to be at least look again, reflect on, see that how we can get better, and support from government and private stakeholders during and after. So after retiring, will help encourage and attract more people towards. I think basically this is more for the parents, because they're concerned. They're concerned because what are you going to do? Like they don't want to miss your academic years, because after here I think, because do we have some kind of some assurity that you play at this level, a good level, then the kind of, because eventually life of a sport person is, if you're lucky, then 10, 12 years. After that, what? If you miss out on education, you're not good, you don't have the degree, you don't have any licenses, then how are you going to support your family? Because you have done so well for your country, representing the Olympics, doing everything, but where the support? Even that's why even today we have only hundreds, say 100 plus Olympians going to represent Tokyo, but can we make it like 300, 400, 500? They're all good. So for that to make happen, that at least some kind of, I think, the hope, the assurance, that the support, that that freely without worrying, that because most of the, I think, athletes, even the Olympians, I think maybe except few, but most of us, even including myself, we all come from a much humble backgrounds, and we work up through the ladder, fighting in its getting, I mean, its level. And eventually, after working so hard, by when you're like in your mid-30s, we're done, you're playing, then if you don't have anything, then question arise, where, why do I play this sport? Why do I play? Because there's no scope for it. So I think even the talented boys or girls who has the talent, but when they don't see there's a career in sport, maybe they will just backtrack. So I think those are some areas which I feel that this is again topic is again the Northeast, but going forward, we produce today. We are so proud to say that we come from Northeast, and we have 30. Starting from Dr. Tiao, we have 30 Olympians from the Northeast. I think his contribution to the country, and we are proud to be a country, and I've represented the country for so many years, and we're just proud to be representing and doing well for our country. But to make it more numbers, to come up more numbers, I think these are, I think, few things that going forward, this will only support us and make things better. So I think that's all I have to say. And one last time, thank you so much to National Sports University Manipur for again giving me this opportunity just to share my thoughts. It's a very personal thoughts on about the whole, because I think just an incident where never I played the qualifying for the Olympics, never got opportunity as a football team, that we never got in the last couple of decades, we never got there, but played in being part of it. I always, when I talk to some of even the Olympians from our region, every time when I get the opportunity to sit down and speak to them, one thing that it's unfulfilled dream will be always, I said, those games village, like even in the Asian game, it's so good. And I've like, I thought, like, how was it in Olympic of those games village? It must be amazing. It's like the biggest and largest sporting event. Now there was one dream that was, I will never fulfill. But that's sometimes when I speak to them, I was like, man, you guys are in some ways so lucky, but to be there because you're good, you're there, you deserve to be there. The question is now, can we win titles? When we come back home, can we come back home with the titles? I'm sure that just a matter of time that we will be there. So saying that, thank you so much once again, the National Sport University Manipur, and